Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Here is the essay, Louis Pasteur's Studies on Fermentation, published in 1876, and Georg Cantor's contributions to set theory, commencing in 1887, represent towering achievements in 19th century science and mathematics. Pasteur's meticulous experimental investigations into the nature of fermentation revolutionized our understanding of microbiology and challenged spontaneous generation, while Cantor's groundbreaking work on set theory fundamentally reshaped the foundations of mathematics by introducing the concept of infinite sets with varying cardinalities. This essay embarks on a detailed critical evaluation of the individual claims presented within these seminal works, examining their internal logic, supporting evidence, and enduring impact. Section 1. Pasteur's Initial Hypothesis and Experimental Design. Pasteur's Studies on Fermentation initiated with a bold hypothesis: fermentation is invariably caused by the presence and activity of specific microorganisms. Traditional understanding often attributed fermentation to spontaneous chemical decomposition, a view Pasteur sought to dismantle through rigorous experimentation. His initial experiments involved the careful sterilization of fermentable liquids like sugar solutions and milk. He then exposed these sterilized liquids to air filtered through cotton wool, meticulously observing whether fermentation occurred. The claim here is direct sterile liquids, protected from airborne microorganisms, should remain free from fermentation. Pasteur's experimental design directly addresses this claim by establishing controlled environments and carefully excluding potential contaminants. The strength of this claim stems from its testability and its direct opposition to prevailing theories of spontaneous generation. Section 2. Microorganisms as the active agents of fermentation. Building upon his initial observations, Pasteur asserted that specific types of microorganisms, such as yeasts and bacteria, were directly responsible for different types of fermentation. He demonstrated that different fermentations, for example, alcoholic fermentation caused by yeast and lactic acid fermentation caused by bacteria, produced distinct products. This claim goes beyond simply stating microorganisms cause fermentation. It posits a specificity between the type of microorganism and the type of fermentation. His experiments involved isolating and culturing specific types of microorganisms from fermenting liquids. He then introduced these pure cultures into sterile liquids and observed the resulting fermentation. He demonstrated that yeast cultures consistently produced alcohol, while bacterial cultures consistently produced lactic acid. The evidential base rests upon the repeatability of these experiments under controlled conditions, establishing a strong correlation between the presence of specific microorganisms and the resultant fermentation products. Section 3. The role of oxygen in fermentation. Pasteur's investigations extended to the role of oxygen in fermentation, leading him to distinguish between aerobic and anaerobic organisms. He demonstrated that some microorganisms, like yeast, could thrive both in the presence and absence of oxygen, with differing metabolic pathways. He termed this facultative anaerobic metabolism. Other organisms, he showed, were strictly aerobic, requiring oxygen for growth and fermentation. This claim expanded the understanding of fermentation processes by incorporating the crucial factor of oxygen availability. His experiments involved culturing microorganisms under varying oxygen concentrations, measuring their growth rates and metabolic outputs. He employed sealed vessels and controlled gas environments to manipulate oxygen levels. The evidence is compelling, showing differential growth and metabolic activity depending on oxygen presence, thereby supporting his distinction between aerobic, anaerobic, and facultative anaerobic organisms. He also carefully addressed the observation that fermentation seemed to proceed more vigorously in the absence of air, clarifying the role of oxygen specifically in promoting the growth of undesirable organisms which might compete with the desired fermenting agent. Section 4. Pasteurization. and the prevention of spoilage. Based on his understanding of the role of microorganisms in fermentation and spoilage, Pasteur developed the process of pasteurization. This involves heating liquids, such as milk and wine, to a specific temperature for a short period to kill harmful microorganisms without significantly altering their taste or nutritional value. The central claim of pasteurization is that controlled heating can effectively eliminate spoilage-causing organisms, thereby extending the shelf life of perishable goods. Pasteur's experiments involved comparing the spoilage rates of pasteurized and unpasteurized liquids. He meticulously monitored the microbial content and chemical changes in both samples over time. The evidence convincingly demonstrates that pasteurization significantly reduces the microbial load and slows down the rate of spoilage, validating its effectiveness as a preservation method. Moreover, he carefully determined the minimum temperature and time necessary to kill specific pathogens without denaturing the product, ensuring both safety and quality. Section 5 Refutation of spontaneous generation. A cornerstone of Pasteur's work on fermentation was his vigorous refutation of spontaneous generation, the belief that living organisms could arise from non-living matter. He argued that microorganisms invariably originate from pre-existing microorganisms, principle he termed omni vivum ex vivo. His experiments involved the use of swan-necked flasks, which allowed air to enter a sterile liquid but prevented airborne microorganisms from reaching it. The claim is that if spontaneous generation were true, microorganisms would appear in sterile liquids even when protected from contamination. Pasteur observed that liquids in swan-necked flasks remained sterile indefinitely unless the flasks were tilted, allowing microorganisms to enter. This provided strong evidence against spontaneous generation and supported the germ theory of disease. The elegance of the swan-necked flask experiment lay in its simplicity and its ability to definitively isolate the liquid from airborne contaminants, thereby falsifying the hypothesis of spontaneous generation. Section 6 Cantor's definition of sets and set membership. Moving to Cantor's contributions to set theory, we encounter a foundational claim: a set is a gathering together into a whole of definite, distinct objects of our perception or of our thought, which are called elements of the set. This definition, while intuitive, lays the groundwork for a rigorous mathematical treatment of collections. Cantor's initial claim establishes the fundamental concept of a set as a well-defined collection of distinct entities, thereby providing a basis for further mathematical analysis. The significance of this claim lies in its providing a formal language for discussing collections that previously lacked a precise mathematical formulation. This seemingly simple definition opens the door to exploring the properties of these well-defined collections. Section 7. The concept of one-to-one correspondence. Cantor introduced the concept of one-to-one correspondence as a means of comparing the size of sets, even infinite sets. Two sets are said to have the same cardinality if there exists a one-to-one correspondence between their elements, meaning that each element of one set can be uniquely paired with an element of the other set, with no elements left over in either set. The claim asserted here is that one-to-one correspondence offers a precise criterion for establishing the equivalence in size, or cardinality, between sets, regardless of whether those sets are finite or infinite. He provided a foundational method to compare sizes of sets through this one-to-one correspondence. This claim carries profound implications, as it provides a means to compare the size of sets without relying on counting, which is problematic for infinites. Section 8 Countable and uncountable sets. Cantor distinguished between countable and uncountable sets. A set is countable if its elements can be put into a one-to-one correspondence with the natural numbers 1, 2, 3, and so forth. An uncountable set is one that cannot be put into such a correspondence. This claim is central to Cantor's work, dividing sets into two fundamentally different categories based on their cardinality relative to the natural numbers. He asserted a profound difference in the size of infinite sets, moving beyond the intuitive notion that all infinities are equivalent. This distinction between countable and uncountable sets had a transformative impact on set theory, revealing the surprising fact that some infinities are larger than Section 9. The countability of rational numbers. Cantor demonstrated that the set of rational numbers, which are numbers that can be expressed as a fraction of two integers, is countable. This was a surprising result, as the rational numbers appear to be denser than the natural numbers. He constructed a systematic method for listing all the rational numbers, thereby establishing a one-to-one correspondence with the natural numbers. Cantor's claim is that the set of rational numbers are equinumerous with the set of natural numbers, despite the rational numbers existing densely along the real number line. This demonstration defied intuition and highlighted the power of one-to-one correspondence as a tool for comparing infinite sets. He established a systematic way to enumerate every rational number, thus finding a bijection to the natural numbers. Section 10. The uncountability of real numbers. Cantor's diagonal argument. Perhaps Cantor's most famous result is his proof that the set of real numbers is uncountable. He used here ingenious argument known as the diagonal argument. Cantor's argument proves that no matter how you attempt to list every real number between 0 and 1, you can always construct another real number between 0 and 1 not on your list. This he did by assuming that one can list all those real numbers in a column, then make a new real number between 0 and 1 by changing the first digit of the first number, the second digit of the second number, the third digit of the third number, and so forth. This new real number is provably not on the list. The claim here is that there is no one-to-one correspondence between the real numbers and the natural numbers. This establishes that the real numbers form a larger infinity than the natural numbers. This discovery revolutionized mathematics, revealing the existence of different orders of infinity. Section 11. The power set theorem. Cantor further demonstrated that for any set, the power set, which is the set of all subsets of that set, has a strictly greater cardinality than the original set. This is known as Cantor's power set theorem. The theorem asserted that the cardinality of the set of all subsets of a given set is always strictly larger than the cardinality of the set itself. This theorem has far-reaching consequences, as it implies that there is an infinite hierarchy of infinities, each larger than the previous one. This opened up vast new horizons in set theory, allowing mathematicians to explore the properties of transfinite numbers and the structure of the infinite. The theorem provides a powerful method for generating higher-order infinities. Section 12. Transfinite numbers and ordinals. Cantor introduced the concept of transfinite numbers, which are numbers that are larger than all finite numbers but are not necessarily infinitely large in the traditional sense. He distinguished between transfinite cardinal numbers, which measure the size of sets, and transfinite ordinal numbers, which describe the order of elements in a well-ordered set. His claim asserts the existence of numbers beyond the finite, each capturing distinct aspects of infinity cardinality and ordering. This development expanded the number system beyond the finite, providing a framework for analyzing the properties of infinite sets and their orderings. These numbers allowed mathematicians to rigorously discuss and manipulate infinite quantities. Section 13. Well-ordering principle and axiom of choice. Cantor's work touched upon the well-ordering principle, which states that every set can be well-ordered, meaning that there exists a total order on the set such that every non-empty subset has a least element. This principle is equivalent to the axiom of choice, which states that given any collection of non-empty sets, it is possible to choose one element from each set, even if the collection is infinite. He claimed that every set admits a well-ordering, allowing for a linear arrangement where every subset has a least element. This principle, intimately linked to the axiom of choice, has profound implications for the structure of sets and their comparability. The well-ordering principle, although not explicitly proven by Cantor, became a central topic in set theory, sparking debate and leading to the exploration of its consequences and limitations. Section 14. Samilo Frinkel set theory. Cantor's work on set theory, while revolutionary, also led to certain paradoxes, such as Russell's paradox, which demonstrated that the unrestricted formation of sets can lead to logical contradictions. These paradoxes prompted mathematicians to develop axiomatic systems for set theory, such as Samilov-Rinkel set theory, designed to avoid these contradictions by restricting the ways in which sets could be formed. The paradoxes arising from initial formulations spurred the development of more rigorous axiomatic systems to ensure logical consistency. This evolution of set theory underscores the importance of rigor and precision in mathematical foundations and highlights how challenges can lead to more robust and refined theoretical frameworks. The creation of Samilov-Rinkel set theory created a foundation for the construction of sets as well as a system that allowed mathematicians to explore the boundaries of what can and cannot be rigorously constructed. In conclusion, both Pasteur's studies on fermentation and Cantor's contributions to set theory represent paradigm shifts in their respective fields. Pasteur's meticulous experimental investigations provided compelling evidence against spontaneous generation and established the germ theory of disease, revolutionizing microbiology and paving the way for advancements in medicine and food preservation. Cantor's groundbreaking work on set theory introduced the concept of varying cardinalities of infinite sets, fundamentally reshaping the foundations of mathematics. While Cantor's theory initially faced resistance, it eventually became a cornerstone of modern mathematics. The rigorous evaluation of claims, coupled with precise evidence and ingenious argumentation, marks both works as enduring monuments of scientific and mathematical thought, whose impact continues to resonate in countless areas of ongoing research and discovery. Each investigation, through its own methodology and epistemological lens, contributes to a deeper understanding of the fundamental principles governing the natural world and the abstract realms of mathematical thought.
We really appreciate you tuning into this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.